Hey guys, welcome to Geeky AF. And on this week's episode, we're going to be doing why season three of Discovery missed the mark. So, when we ended season two, we had jumped from the 23rd century, leaving Captain Pike and the USS Enterprise, and went to the 32nd century. Uh, and this was basically their idea of a reboot, a soft reboot, per se. It gave them the ability to tell completely different stories that were out of their element, and also kind of put the bitchy naysayers, nitpickers, to lay them to rest, and tell stories that they wanted to tell. So they get to the 32nd century, and Starfleet's kind of nowhere to be found. It takes them about 6 episodes, I believe, to find Starfleet headquarters. I think it took them like 4 or 5 episodes to find Earth. They met a human Trill. Pardon me, guys. They met a human Trill along the way. And so they met a guy named Book who has this weird, funky ship that doesn't touch itself when it's transforming and everything. It's a weird transformer-like ship. Forgive me for any Transformer fans that are like, that's not accurate. So it's just this weird place that really feels foreign. It had a lot of it had a lot of it had a lot of potential for good storytelling. Um, in my opinion, I really feel like Star Trek Discovery season three should have been what season one should have been of Discovery. Uh, and they could have even used the look of season one Klingons in season three, and it would have been perfectly fine because you have so much evolution of Klingons. This is what they look like now. All right, would have been no problem. Whereas you have a hard time explaining why they look like that in the 23rd century. In the 32nd century, you can get away with a lot of different things, without people wondering why. You have the Romulans and Vulcans living together, and I think it's called Navarre, which is the Vulcan homeworld now. But both of them are living together, which I thought was a wonderful touch. But you have so many different changes. The red, shoot, what is it called? It's the Orion. It's like an updated Orion Syndicate, and I forget what it's called. It's the red something. Um, I know Discovery fans going to be like, "You fat fuck, what are you doing? You're ruining everything. You can't remember nothing." But it had a lot of positives to it. It really did. It was really interesting because you never knew what was around the corner. Um, Book's homeworld was pretty interesting. The aliens they had were pretty interesting. Even the dangers of the planet that Discovery crashes on was pretty interesting. How it kind of like the way it freezes and everything. Like it was just everything about the early part of Discovery season three was interesting. And at some point, you find out that um, Starfleet, like 100 years earlier, uh, all Starfleet ships explode. It leaves you with an interesting mystery, and all of us were talking online. What happened? Was it the Borg? Was it the Doomsday Machine somehow doing it? Was it Iconians? Was it the conspiracy aliens that came back messing with our warp drives? Like there were so many conspiracy theories on like what happened? How did this happen? And all of us, like, no theory was too out there to try to explain this because none of us could figure it out. There was even a theory about how the God in the center of the universe from Star Trek Five was behind it all, and I mean, it was just no theory was too far out there. And I feel like the season 3 jumped the shark. It missed its moment when it finally explains the burn, the how it actually happens. The mystery was too good for the season, and it was when that I forget what alien race Saru is, but that boy, or that young man, when he was a kid, like screams out in that void, and that yell like bursts out of the cloud and goes through the galaxy, and all warp drive just that's it blows up, all dilithium crystal stuff. And that was such a like I remember watching it going, what? That's it? you know. Um and I think a lot of people had that same reaction because like after that it really was like, the fuck is this shit? Like that's your big setup? That's it? And it was nothing to do with the like I liked the story that they had leading up to it. I liked the character that they had that did the scream or the yell or whatever. Like I liked that particular storyline that they had with that episode. But to have it actually be like the cause of the burn, it was just like, what? Everything led up to this? No. Like really? Um like I feel like that's where season 3 really missed the mark. Because like everything up to that, it's like how do you what? And I feel like for me as a fan of Star Trek, um like I'm all for saying there's good Trek, there's bad Trek. But I compared that to like Star Trek The Next Generation, the episode Masks. Like I will never watch Masks and go, that's a good episode. Never. I will never do that. It's such a terrible episode. I know what they were trying to go for. I know they were trying to give Brent Spiner something to do, but I'll never look at that and go, man, I'm in the mood to watch that episode. That's a good episode. If you like it, hey, good for you. I won't. And I'll never look at this part of season 3 and go, that was good storytelling. I don't like it. I feel like you had anything in the galaxy that you could tell, anything in the universe to say this is what explained it. Any attack, anything. And this is what you went with. To me, I felt like they just give up. I felt like they just gave up. To me, it felt like the writers were like, man, hey, the check hasn't cleared yet. Let's just keep writing. And then like as soon as the check cleared, they got a call. They're like, what's that? It cleared? All right, cool. Yeah, have the guy scream. All right, let's go. Let's go out to eat. They're like, oh, fuck it, let's go. It felt like the writers just lost their passion after that moment. I don't know what happened. And I felt like all the creativity that was in the early parts of the season, you lost me on that. I love the dude with the glasses. I forget his name. I loved that part. That was great. I loved how they got rid of Giorgio. I loved that too. That was great. They had the Guardian of Forever. They talked about the temporal war that happened. Like, I mean, they addressed a lot of issues in this season. And they never delved into a lot of it. They just scratched the surface. They give you enough to let your imagination run wild. And I think that was part of the thing is like us online, we really delved into the what ifs of the story. And it's sad that I think a lot of us as fans came up with a lot of stories that were better than what they came up with. And I don't know what happened there. And I don't feel like I'm too hard on the story. I feel like it's a legitimate letdown of how could you possibly think that was a good idea? Because it simply wasn't. I don't feel. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the subject. If you have your own thoughts on it, if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video and you want to see more, hit the like button and you'll see more. So, all right. Take care, guys. Keep on geeking on.